everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. I am celebrating season 11 and you all are going to join me on this journey. I'm so excited. We are going to focus on Southern ingredients and Southern techniques. You know, this area where I live in Augusta, Georgia has bountiful, beautiful produce, fruits, vegetables, and our techniques are really different and great too. Frying, barbecuing, all of these things make the South one of the greatest places on earth to do beautiful food and delicious dining. So I hope you'll follow along with us this season as we introduce you to more ingredients, more techniques, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. So in preparation for today's show, and you know, once a year, I always put the cookbook on sale, and it's this weekend. And I was looking at recipes that we could make out of the book this time, and I thought pecans would be perfect. Well, I have found the greatest company right here in Georgia, Pearson Farms, that has been in business since 1885. It's a 5-generation company, and they are amazing with pecans. They also have peaches. So you're gonna learn a little bit more about this company and how you can get them through mail order. We're gonna do 3 recipes today. Vera's signature chicken salad that uses pecans, the pecan bread pudding with bourbon sauce. We're gonna do pecan sandies as a dessert. Okay, so let's get started in the kitchen with that delicious chicken salad. Okay, the Vera's signature chicken salad was a staple at my cafe for many, many years in Augusta. It is moist. As Chef Gaston would say, it's full of flavor, and it is so easy to make, but the ingredients are a little bit unusual, and that's what made it our signature chicken salad. So let me tell you what I've done in advance. You're gonna buy fresh chicken breast or either the frozen, skinless, boneless chicken breast. You're gonna boil those for about 10 to 12 minutes. Once they've cooled down, you're just gonna take 2 forks and you're just shredding the piece of chicken. You want to get nice big pieces. You know, one of the things I don't think I like the most about this recipe is that there is no doubt that you're eating chicken salad. The other nice part about shredding is that you don't end up with the big chunks. So when you're making a sandwich, it's, you know, it's easier to cut. All right, so this is all ready. Let me add this into the bowl. See how pretty that is? And you know, you could put a little bit of salt in the water, or you could even put a little onion in the water if you wanted to. All right, so this is ready to go. All right, the rest of the ingredients for this chicken salad are spring onions, and those are nice and diced up, and you want to use some of the green because it's extremely colorful. It's also more flavorful. Now to the pecans, which is the best part of this recipe to me is having the pecans in the salad. But the other best part is that I have found Pearson Farms in Fort Valley, Georgia. So we're gonna add those in, and I want to tell you a little bit more about this company. It's located, as I said, in Fort Valley, Georgia. 5 generations have been in business with this farm since 1885. And as you go to their website and watch the videos, it is so pronounced that strong women have kept this farm in business. I mean, I encourage you to go to their YouTube and watch these videos and see what that's all about because it's so interesting on how this was done. It wasn't always called Pearson Farms, but it's always been in the family. Al and his son Lawton purchased the Big 6 farm in 2008 and renamed it to Pearson Farms. The core elements, which I love, are good soil, hard work, honest dealings, family, and faith. Please, again, check out their YouTube. All right, so we've got all of these in here. Now we're gonna make the sauce that goes with it. So it uses Hellmann's mayonnaise, we've got some black pepper, we've got garlic salt, we've got onion salt, and now to the fresh tarragon. And look how pretty and green it is. So we're gonna do a little education on tarragon. So when you get ready to buy tarragon, oh, and that aroma is so fantastic. This tarragon is out of date. It was in my cabinet, and see how brown it is? And I thought, that might not be quite right. It's not out of expiration, but it's already started turning brown. It's not going to be as flavorful. Then this is what I'm using today, which was just purchased. But if you want to make this chicken salad with fresh tarragon, you can buy that, in a little package. You could buy a plant to make it, but it is great. You'll need to use more than the recipe calls for because it's fresh, but it will also start turning brown after a couple of days. So use that only if you're going to serve it right away. All right, so you see how beautiful this sauce looks to go on there? I'm going to blend this in, fold it together. We're going to have a great salad. And when we come back from the break, we're going to get started by one of my recipes that was sold in Costco, the pecan bourbon bread pudding. So come back with me while I mix this up. Welcome back, everybody. If you're just joining me, we are celebrating Pearson Farm pecans today out of Fort Valley, Georgia. We're also celebrating recipes out of the cookbook that are all made with pecans. And we have already gotten one great dish done, but don't worry, our recipes are always available on our website at VeryVera.com. All right, so the chicken salad that we just made that had fresh tarragon and pecans. I finished making the sauce. One of my tips would be don't add all of the sauce until you've mixed some of it, because just like potato salad, you don't really know how much you need until you start adding it. You can always add more if you need it, but you can't take it out if you've put too much. All right, so now the bread pudding. This is the bourbon pecan bread pudding that was sold in Costco, along with two other of our products that are in the cookbook. And I went ahead and sprayed my pan. Always do that over the sink so you don't have that spray going all over the kitchen. Did that, and I melted my butter in the microwave. And this is my Wolf under-the-counter microwave that probably is one of my favorite pieces of their equipment because it's just so easy to go in and out. You don't have to reach up to grab something hot and be scared that you're going to have it go all over you. So I love that piece of equipment. So we're ready to go now with making the sauce that goes on that. So I'm going to start by adding in my butter, melted butter, to the sugar. And I'll get my mixer going here. And now we've got 3 eggs. We'll let those go in slowly. And on an egg, if the recipe calls for an egg, generally it's a large egg. All right, now I've let my whole milk come to room temperature. We're going to add that in. If you don't have a countertop mixer, you can always use a hand mixer to do that. Or if you really want to get a workout, you could use a wire whisk. All right, so I've got vanilla extract. And go ahead and get good vanilla extract. It makes such a difference in a recipe. All right, we've got nutmeg and cinnamon. We're just going to let that get good and mixed together. The other nice part about this is you've got a big bowl, so you can let that mixer go and it's not going to go everywhere. All right, so now I am ready to pour that over this mixture of croissants. So this is where you can use those day-old croissants that maybe you didn't eat over the weekend and just make this and put it in the freezer. All right, so I'm going to pour this over. And you're going to let this sit for a little bit. The recipe will tell you the exact instructions. And I'm going to take my spatula and make sure that I've pressed it down and it's completely covered up. And now the last thing is the pecans that are going to go on top. So let me tell you a little bit as I add these delicious pecans about Pearson Farm's pecans. All right, so they sell all kinds of products online. You've got to check them out at pearsonfarms.com. So in-shell pecans, they have the natural pecans, flavored pecans, chocolate pecans, which are my absolute favorite. They do gift boxes. They have gift tins. So if you're looking for a corporate gift or if you're looking to send something as a thank you, it's perfect. They also sell peaches. They sell those in mail order. So if you're in an area where you can't get fresh peaches, this is the place for you. And then finally, jellies and preserves. So let me also tell you a little bit about Mary, and I cannot wait to meet her because she does a lot of what I used to do in my mail order business. She makes cakes and pies and peach cakes. So please check it out. She's Al's wife. Their son, Lawton, Al and Lawton, own the business together now. And one more quick little note is that Lanier, who is Lawton's wife's mother, was my Phi Mu sorority sister at Georgia. So we've all circled back together again. It's great. Okay, in Vera's Corner today, we're going to talk about candied pecans that you can make yourself. And then finally, we're going to do my mother's favorite pecan sandies. So I'll keep going with this, making the bourbon sauce that goes on top, and we'll see you after the break. Vera's Corner is brought to you by TaxSlayer. It's no surprise that I love peanuts, but what about candied pecans? This is such a great Southern staple. It's easy to make, so let me show you the technique and some fun ways to use it. Preheat the oven to 325 degrees. Bring water to a boil over medium heat in a large saucepan. Add 1/2 cup of sugar. For a classic candied pecan, let the sugar dissolve on its own. Once the sugar is dissolved, pour in 2.5 cups of pecan halves and let them cook, stirring every few minutes. The liquid will begin to thicken. Remove from the heat when most of the liquid has cooked out and the pecans are shiny and sticky. Spread the pecans on a sheet pan lined with parchment paper and bake for 8 to 10 minutes. They should have a frosty look. Remove from the oven and let the pecans cool before using. For savory pecans, use some paprika or add in some fall spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, or pumpkin pie spice for a holiday twist. For something on the savory side, use fresh herbs like sage or rosemary. And then add them to a charcuterie board or sprinkle on a salad to add a sweet, savory, or even spicy crunch. Wrap in a cellophane bag with a ribbon for a tasty gift. Enjoy this simple treat. Start free today at TaxSlayer.com. Welcome back, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed Vera's Corner today. These candied pecans, honestly, you can put them on a charcuterie board. They're just great as a gift in a bag with a pretty bow. They're so good to eat, so I hope you'll try that recipe. All right, so I finished the bourbon sauce. Very easy to do. You're gonna have butter in a saucepan. You're gonna let that melt down on top of the stove, medium-high heat. Then you're gonna add your dark brown sugar, and you wanna stir it long enough that you've got all of the butter incorporated into the sugar nice and melted. You'll see it will start to get a little bit thick, so that's perfect. Then you're gonna take it off the stove. But in my particular case, I don't have to do that because I have an induction Wolf stovetop. And once you turn it off, it's off. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna add my bourbon to it. And just be careful because that will start to boil up as that alcohol gets hot. It'll bubble up, so just make sure that it doesn't splatter on you. But that poured over that bread pudding with a scoop of vanilla ice cream is fantastic. All right, pecan sandies. It's not Christmas in my family, and there are 5 of us without this recipe. It is just delicious. And one of the hardest parts for me, and we mail ordered this product, and that's why the recipe is in the cookbook. One of the things that was hard for me is actually getting the pecan meal. You cannot buy that in a grocery store. And for years, I would put all of my pecan halves like this in a blender and just grate them up really fine. And I wondered, why is it so gooey? Well, what I've learned is pecan meal is milled with air. There is no blade cutting this. Therefore, the natural oils that are in this pecan do not get introduced into the recipe. And so that's what makes the difference. And Pearson Farms has the best pecan meal I have ever had. The way this dough looks is completely amazing because, as you can see, the biggest ingredient is the pecan meal, so it's nice and brown. So let's talk to the dough and how I made that dough. All right, so you start with margarine. And why do we use margarine instead of butter? Well, one of the reasons is that you want to pronounce that pecan flavor. Butter is so concentrated that you're going to end up tasting more of the butter, but with margarine, you're going to really taste the pecans, and it's also going to maintain its shape and not spread out. Okay, so I've preheated my oven to 275 because this cooks slow and long. And then I've put my parchment paper down on my pan so that these will not stick when you're baking them. All right, so in the mixture, you're going to cream the margarine, slowly add your granulated sugar, beat until it's light and fluffy, about 2 minutes. Then you're going to add in your pecan meal, and this just mixes together so beautifully. Once that's done, you're going to put it into a bowl, and then it's going to refrigerate until it's really nice and cold. And that's basically where I am right now. So this is another key element. And one of the reasons we have had so many great reviews in this cookbook, as a former home economics teacher, I wanted to make sure that every imaginable instruction was given to you so that you wouldn't come back to me and say, Vera, that recipe did not work. So on this, it's going to tell you to make the little balls the size of marbles. Well, we all know what size a marble is. So you see they're very little, really little balls. And you know, this is where you can get your young person involved, helping you in the kitchen doing this. So once you fill this whole, and I'm going to get about 3 dozen cookies to this pan. Once you've rolled all of these out, and like I said, they're not going to spread, so I should be able to get 5. You're just going to take your finger and you are going to spread those out to about the shape of a quarter. And then, like I said, you're putting these into a low oven to bake slowly. All right, so let me tell you a few more things about Pearson Farms because it's so amazing. Their pecan meal, again, is just superior. They've got great recipes on their website. They have a fantastic catalog. They offer corporate discounts if you're looking for that. You can use these in lots of desserts. They're so full of antioxidants, high in copper. They'll help your blood pressure, boost immunity, focus, energy, all of those things, which is why everybody should be eating them. Okay, so when we come back from the break, we're gonna lay everything out, show you how beautiful it all looks after it's prepared. So come back with me. I'll keep making these pecan sandies. See you then. Welcome back, everybody, and I have had the best time today celebrating Southern ingredients and Southern techniques. There's nothing more Southern than a Southern pecan, and the Pearson Farms pecans right out of Fort Valley, Georgia are so delicious. It's like I'm walking down the field, cracking one myself, and just taking it right out of the shell. And then certainly baking is so Southern, and I grew up doing that, so I've really had fun today. So bringing things back to my roots is certainly what we're trying to do in season 11, celebrating Southern ingredients and Southern techniques. So today we made our 3 recipes from the book. We started with the cafe favorite, Vera's signature chicken salad, using fresh tarragon, that I hope you remember your tarragon 101, and then also the pecans, which makes it so unusual. And then we moved into the pecan bread pudding that was sold in Costco. I had to wear the white hairnet and pass out samples, which was really a lot of fun. But this recipe is so delicious. It's great for a dessert. It's also wonderful for a brunch. And then finally, the pecan sandies. For me, that is truly the memory of my mother. Just smelling that during the holidays, the smell of toasted pecans, because these cook slow and long. You're going to take them out of the oven and roll them in sugar, which we just did, and then you bake them again for 30 more minutes. So they really have that nice crunch, and all you taste taste is the toasted pecan. So Pearson Farms, certainly their season for pecans is the middle of October through March. They have them on their website. You can get them no matter where you live. And I highly recommend that pecan meal because, as I said, you cannot buy that in the store, and there's nothing like it. These are so golden and delicious and flavorful. You know, my mother would have been 105 years old this weekend. And, you know, I know she's smiling down from heaven because I'm still enjoying my passion. And she was such a huge influence in my life, and that's why the book is dedicated to her. You know, the Pearson Farm people were led by strong women, and I have been led by a strong woman. And I hope that I'm leading some other women behind me to be strong. So the code to get this book at half price is Betty105. You'll find it on our website at VeryVera.com. You're going to enter that code. I'll be happy to personalize the book, but we only put the book on sale once a year. So this is the time to stock up for gifts or to give one to a friend. So I hope that you will take advantage of that and get those books while they're on sale. And as I always say on the Very Vera Show, no matter what you do, do it in good taste. And I hope you'll come back with me next week.